Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Shameless Freedom Podcast. And today's episode, I was inspired and challenged at the same time to identify a story in my healing journey that maybe is not as public as I have been with other stories. So I've actually gone back to the beginning of my journey. And I want to share with you how I healed my body, but also how I connected with all of the parts that make me a woman, connecting to my womb, my pelvic floor, and some of the struggles and pains and crazy stories that happened along the way. And I hope that this is an invitation for you to look into yourself to see where you can open up to dive deeper into connecting with your womb space, the sacred space that is what makes us a woman, where creation is actually made. And our pelvic floor, our core and pelvic floor, which is literally the core and center of our bodies, and how important it is for us to make that connection. So, if I start back at the beginning, it was all about disconnection. Like, I wanted more. I was disconnected from my partner, disconnected from my kids, from myself, and my body. And it was literally in the darkest time of my life when I really dove into this connection with my pelvic floor and womb space. So, if I think about where I was at this point in my life, I was going through divorce. I was in the process of selling my home. My business was failing. I had little to no money coming in. I had no idea where I was going to live once I moved out of my home. And I had two of my four boys that hated my guts. And then on the top of it all, my dad kept telling me that I needed to get my fucking life together and that there was no way he was ever going to let me live with him, that I could go live at a homeless shelter. And here I am feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders, the provider for my children, taking care of myself, not having anyone there to hold and support me, and was ready to crack. And it was at that point in time where I was tired of feeling disconnected. And there's multiple layers of disconnection, but I was not only disconnected with people, but I was disconnected with my body. Um, I had severe stress incontinence. I know many women can probably relate to this. When you laugh, sneeze, cough, you pee, you lick in your pants. And I have many, many stories that I can share in regards to this that are absolutely humiliating, embarrassing on what happens. And I was at the point where I'm like, I'm just done. I'm tired of peeing in my pants when I dance, right? Like there was a point, it wasn't just laugh, sneeze, cough. It was go on the dance floor, go to the gym, and not be able to feel strong and grounded in the body. So not only was I feeling alone, carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, feeling this pressure to be the strong one, I was also having this physical body sensation that was feeling the pressure itself and this physical and emotional weight inside of the body. And prior to that, I had tried everything. Seriously. I had done Kegel exercises, I have bought in devices, I've hired PTs, I've done programs, like you name it. Like I would say, I'm gonna do this thing for 60 to 90 days, whatever it is, religiously, and then when it wouldn't work, I'd give up. And then I'd try the new thing. So for the last decade, I have been exploring and testing and trying a variety of different things in this space to heal this part of me. Because here's the truth. No one should have to live with that feeling. Our bodies were not made to have to experience leaking, right? Like more than 50% of women, and I should know the statistics on this, I'll do some research for you, but there are more women than not that struggle in these areas, and it's not talked about. Or we talk about it with a gynecologist. I mean, I talked about it with my gynecologist, and she didn't really know what to tell me, to be quite honest with you, which I was shocked. And she suggested a device, etc., and it didn't work. It was like, I don't know what to do with this anymore. I am tired of dealing with this issue and not getting the results that I am looking for. And so, one of the things that I have found in this last decade of the certifications that I have in regards to being a love, sex, and relationship coach, pleasure coach, right? There's so much with the physical body. And I've learned from so many experts that just doing Kegels is not enough. Yes, it's an important part. We need to connect with that part of ourself, but there's so much more that is involved than just trying to squeeze and strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. Um, and many of the pelvic floor therapists I have spoken to have said that even though they have had women come through and they have taught them various activities and things to do, that there's still always an emotional component that goes along with it. So sometimes women will go for physical therapy and may see some results, but not all of the results that they are looking for because they're not doing the other emotional components around it. Then you also have the conflicting information that is available all over the internet. I can tell you, I have researched so many things. I remember I had a personal trainer years ago, and I said I need help with this issue. And they would provide different activities. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You're not supposed to do that for pelvic floor things. Like here's the research that has shown. And then there's other research that shows, no, you should do that. So it's very complicated on what you should do versus what you shouldn't do. And I'll be honest, there were times where I'm like, I'm gonna try something and would just completely give up. Because when you devote yourself and you say, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna spend 90 days dedicated to something, and this is going to work. I believed it was going to work, and it didn't. Like, think about all the things that you do where you spend the time, you do the effort, and then it doesn't work. It's like, what the heck? What am I missing? And I want to share with you what I've experienced in my journey, shared the practices that I have learned, the lessons I have learned, the nuggets of wisdom on what is actually all involved with connecting to your body, connecting to your pelvic floor, your womb space, and all of the parts that make us a woman. And there are multiple pieces to the puzzle. So many of us do not know that there are all of these pieces. Some people are just going to the gym, thinking that's going to help. Some people are just doing Kegels. Some people are just doing emotional work. And the truth of the matter is, we need to bring all of these things together so that we can move through this issue of disconnection. Because that's really what this is all about. So many of us women are disconnected from our bodies. We're physically disconnected from our bodies. Many of us have been overweight. We're not toned. We don't feel like strength and muscular, etc., because we're not connected physically to the body. Then there's also the emotional component, the pressure and overwhelm. I want you to think for a moment. Stress incontinence. So first it's stress, and the incontinence is the inability to control. So this is all about the inability to control stress in the body. Let's think about that for a moment. If your body is telling you that there's an inability to control stress physically, then there's something emotionally going on that is not allowing you to emotionally handle the things that are going on in your body. If I look at Louise Hay's book on stress incontinence, it is years of emotional overflow, holding in the emotions and not allowing them to be. So many people think that pelvic floor work is all about strengthening the pelvic floor muscles, and it's not. And I want to teach you some nuggets of wisdom, practices, things that you can do to help strengthen your core and pelvic floor. You see, this is deeper than, let me just strengthen these muscles. There is a mind, body, spirit connection to it all. And this is one of the reasons why so many women have issues and challenges in this area, because we have not been taught how to focus on all of them, right? We're either taught go to the gym, or we're taught go and see a therapist, or a physical therapist, someone who can help you physically, emotionally, etc. And we need to be able to bring those things together. And here's the thing too. There are underlying desires, issues that are behind all of this pressure. When I hosted many of my retreats or fireside chat circles, one of the things that always comes up is the constant pressure that women feel. And when I do this spring cleaning activity, and women talk about how they're feeling and the pressure and the stress that they feel to be, to perform, etc., it is always one of the number one things that is blocking us from feeling that sense of peace, softening into the essence of who we are as a woman. And I want women to understand how to get there. And it begins with understanding our womb and our pelvic floor as a whole. We don't have a lot of education in our society around those areas, right? And if you think about the pelvic floor from a female perspective, we can't really see it, right? It's inside. And it is important for us to understand how it all works together. Because when you can focus on connecting with yourself, with your body, you don't need a partner for connection and safety. So many of us unintentionally seek that or are wanting to experience that and can feel that experience of closeness, of connection, more with a partner. And I want to teach you how to create that connection and safety within you so that you can feel not just sexy and beautiful and confident, but that you can also feel strong and soft in your body. You can learn how to release that pressure and slow down, to be more present and in the moment, to understand the power of rest and relaxation and being in the moment. And at the end of the day, feeling this sense of peace with uncertainty. And I know that that sounds wild and crazy, right? We all want to know. We want to know the answers. We want to know the outcomes, which is just a human trait. And at the same time, what if you could connect back to your body, feel that connection to yourself, to know that you are always safe in the body. And that will then guide you, not just in your intimacy in the bedroom. That's one piece, but it will ground you in all aspects of your life. This is about intimacy with self so that you can have intimacy with your partner, but that's not the main core thing. This journey is about coming home to your body. This is not just coming home to your mind. It's very important for us to involve the mind and to have our mind be a part of this experience. And at the same time, we need to connect with the body. We need to create a relationship with our body just like you would with a best friend. And that begins with 5 minutes a day. Right? You don't have to go to the gym 30 minutes a day, an hour a day in order to connect with the essence of who you truly are. Some of you have been following my journey, and I have been doing 50 squats a day since December, I think it might have been 27th. And I am amazed to share with you some of the exciting things that have happened in my world with my body by just doing this. About nourishing your body. This is saying yes to your body. This is not saying, I know I need to work out. I don't want you doing this if you're coming here saying, I have to work out. No, it's not sustainable. I want you to create a solution that is sustainable for you. when we do things out of the intention of nourishment, of loving the body, loving the self, one little bit at a time, what we will find is it can be easy. We just have to keep with the consistency. One of my pelvic floor therapists has said, you don't need a ton of effort. It's consistency. Some of the muscles in our pelvic area don't need a lot. You don't need 5-pound weights, 10-pound weights, etc. What you need is attention and consistency and nourishment to who you are in your body. And if you are someone who wants to learn more about this, you are in for a treat because I am going to be starting a 20-day challenge. It's going to be in the month of March, so it will be Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. So 4 weeks of 5 times a week, just to give you a little break on the weekends and to take that time to focus on the connection with your body. Now, here's the deal. I'm not talking about just meditating. And I'm not talking about just working out. That's not what this is about. I want you to understand the connection with your body. Now, here's the truth. You might look at this and go, well, how is that going to make an impact? I don't have time for that. That is the exact reason that you need to be doing this work. Because here's the truth. It doesn't have to be hard. We just make it hard. What if you allowed it to be easy? What if it didn't have to take 90 days of an hour a day of hard effort to see results? Now, some of you might be looking and going, oh, you're crazy. Well, you can think I'm crazy or you can try it because I promise you, you will see a shift. You may see a small shift. You may see a big shift. It depends on where you are in your journey and what is showing up for you. But this is all about reconnection. This is about intimacy being redefined. It is about coming home to yourself in a way that you may have never known existed before. And let me tell you, it doesn't have to be hard. If you are ready to come and join us for this 20-day pelvic and uh, womb challenge, come and join us. It's going to be free. I'm going to be hosting it in my Shameless Freedom group. I'll also be sending email messages. So if you have missed any of the live recordings, you will be able to experience the 5 to 10 minutes a day of presence and journal questions that if you feel like taking the time to dive into, that it will help you create that connection that you have been longing for, that you have been craving and seeking in your life. And I am so excited to be your guide to help you on this journey to reconnection with yourself, with God, with your partner, with your kids, with life itself.